Expected points, clean sheet odds, captaincy, and the best players to buy. This video has got all the information you need to know ahead of game week 26. Alright, then we're going to start off the video by talking about the top players for expected points by position. Goalkeepers up first, and David Raya is the top goalkeeper this week for expected points according to Draft Town. 3.9 expected points against Newcastle at home. Obviously Newcastle not in the best run of form at the moment, and Arsenal defensively are by far and away the best team in the league at the moment, right? Kept a couple of clean sheets on the bounce and are the top team for expected goals conceded. Martinez in second place with Nottingham Forest at home. Quite a kind fixture for Villa. Only problem with Villa is they have some of their critical players out injured at the moment. So will they keep a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest? I mean, questions to be asked there, I think. Jose Sarr in third place. Onana, Edison, Steele, Flecken, Henderson, Areola and Pickford are the top keepers. On then to the defenders, and it's pretty Arsenal dominant as we saw with the goalkeeper, right? Gabriel, White and Saliba are the top three defenders this week for expected points. Alex Moreno in fourth place. Obviously similar sort of thinking around Martinez. They've got a decent fixture, and Alex Moreno from an attacking perspective is quite good. Dalot against Fulham at home. Quite like Dalot as an option in FPL, I won't lie. Seems to have nailed down that right back spot now for Man United. Quite an attacking player, and Man United, they've not been playing that well recently, but they do seem to be quite like defensively resilient. So I do see some clean sheets, you know, in the next few fixtures for them. Ake, Dunk, Dawson, Kilman and Zinchenko round off the defenders. On then to the midfielders, and Bukayo Saka is the top midfielder this week for expected points. 7.8 expected points, over 1 point above anyone else in the game for midfield at the moment. I think Bukayo Saka has obviously been excellent in recent game weeks, and I think those players that were just patient with him through what was a bit of a dry patch for a few game weeks in previous months have been rewarded now, right? He's done really well in recent game weeks. We all know his upside, absolutely nailed on the right hand side for Arsenal. Takes their penalties, obviously scored his last one. And yeah, Newcastle, across the last couple of months, they are the worst defence in the league for expected goals conceded. Quite the journey they've been on from being one of the best defensive teams to literally the worst, and it's not even close really for expected goals conceded. Odegaard in second place, Foden in third, Trossard, Rashford, Gross, Garnacho, Havertz, Martinelli and Neto are the top midfielders. No surprise to see who is top of the forwards list. Erling Haaland got Bournemouth away, closely followed though by Ollie Watkins. 0.1 expected points in it. Højlund in third place, obviously in a great run of form at the moment. I do really like Højlund as an option, but I just think there are three other forwards that are probably better than him for upcoming game weeks. That's why I haven't really spoken about him in any of my videos. Yes, of course, he's not gone unnoticed by me, but yeah, I just think with doubles and blanks, etc. coming up, is he really the best, the best player to be considering buying? Julian Alvarez is up there. Tony, Solanke, Jesus, Mateta, Mopai and Welbeck are the top forwards. Now, if you look at the expected points alone, captaincy is a bit of an interesting one this week, right? I think I'm still going to put the armband on Haaland, but it's a tough one this week. You know, Saka has been in such good form for Arsenal, right? And I can totally see why he's ranked number one for expected points, right? Newcastle, as I said, are the worst defence in the league for the last couple of months for expected goals conceded. Saka is probably Arsenal's best player, definitely their talisman. I'd expect him to finish as their top scorer this season because obviously they don't currently have a really good recognised centre forward. He's on their penalties, absolutely nailed to start on the right wing. 90-minute man, just ticks all of the boxes, right? So you can definitely see why he's a captaincy shout. Be interesting to see how, well, Man City's second fixture in game week 25 plays out. You know, if Haaland scores a hat-trick or something like that in that one, it'd be hard-pressed not to captain him in game week 26. But yeah, interesting to see how close it is. Actually between three assets, Saka, Haaland and Watkins, all vying for that top spot for expected points. Odegaard, Foden and Rashford are the other three. I think this week, given the quality of fixture that Arsenal have, you could go different from Haaland. Finally then, from the Draft Town stats, we've got the clean sheet odds. Arsenal and Wolves are the joint top teams this week for the odds of keeping a clean sheet. Both sit at 44%. Arsenal with Newcastle at home, Wolves with Sheffield United at home, Villa, Crystal Palace and Man City all sit at 40, Man United on 38, Brighton on 36, and then usually any teams below 30% I don't like to back for a clean sheet. The one player I'm relying on though in Game Week 26, I don't know if you guys are doing the same, but Crystal Palace away for Burnley, I've got Charlie Taylor in my team, who I'm going to need to play in Game Week 26. So yeah, a little bit worried about that one. For any Dubravka and Areola double up owners, I think the clean sheet odds here make it clear who should probably be starting for you. Dubravka has a 10% chance of keeping a clean sheet this week. Fun fact, I've got Botman in my team at the moment, and he's going to have to start for me in Game Week 26 as it stands. I'm actually considering taking a hit to sell a couple of players so I don't have to start Botman, because I think Newcastle's chances of keeping a clean sheet in that game are so slim that I think we're just going to get a 2-pointer from Botman. So yeah, those are the clean sheet odds. Let me know who your defenders are for this game week. All right, we'll finish off the video then by talking about my top transfer targets. Number one this game week, particularly with the injury occurring to Diogo Jota, I really like Hwang Hee-chan, and I think he's an even better option for you. He does have a chance of blanking in Game Week 29, so if you're planning to free hit in 29, he's an absolute shoo-in, in my opinion. You saw in the expected points, he wasn't actually above Neto, which is quite surprising for Draft Hound, but I think that's a reflection of the fact he hasn't been in the team recently. Obviously, was in the Asia Cup and then came back with a little bit of an injury, which prevented him from starting. But, I mean, he's got a great fixture in Game Week 26 against Sheffield United. He's the Wolves penalty taker. He's putting up some really excellent numbers for Wolves this season. 10 goals, 3 assists from 18 starts. Like I said, he could be the ideal replacement for Diogo Jota, right? And he's nice and cheap. He saves you almost 3 million on Diogo Jota, right? Which could enable you to upgrade another midfielder to, well, obviously the likes of Saka, who is a captaincy shout for Game Week 26, but could also enable you to get Son and Salah in upcoming game weeks, right? Son not blanking in Game Week 29 and Salah obviously being back fit and playing for Liverpool. You're going to want him back in your team at some point, right? And drop in someone like Jota, or maybe someone even more expensive, to Hwang Hee-chan, I think, is a really nice way to enable that. And for me, 5.5 million for a centre forward playing for Wolves and taking their penalties, classed as a midfielder in FPL, is a bit of a cheat code. Now, I really like Dominic Solanke for the upcoming game weeks. Question is, do you actually buy him for Game Week 26? Because he's got Man City, which is obviously a tough fixture. In my position, I'm currently sitting on Darwin Núñez as one of my forwards, who blanks in Game Week 26 and actually has a bit of an injury at the moment, so we'll see how that one plays out. But following on from Game Week 26, right, Solanke has Burnley in 27, Sheffield United and Luton in 28, and then, yeah, Wolves and Everton beyond that point. So the fixtures from 27 onwards are absolutely fantastic, right? And I think you'd be hard-pressed not to have him for 27 and 28, particularly in Game Week 28. I think quite a few players will triple captain Solanke for that game week. Obviously, he'll be the most popular captain, I would suggest. And also, both of those fixtures in Game Week 28 are at home as well, which I think is a significant advantage for most strikers. And similar to, well, Saka, for example, he ticks just all the boxes of a good FPL asset. He's nailed to start, takes the penalties, plays 90 minutes, so he's always got a chance of scoring. Putting up some great numbers, 17 attacking returns from 24 starts, 6.9 million. I mean, a fantastic option. Next up, I just wanted to talk quickly about Ivan Toney as well. He doesn't have a big double game week in 28 like Solanke does, but he's really proven to be one of the best forwards in the league, in my opinion. And similar to other players I've spoken about, he's nailed to start, he takes the penalties, and he plays 90 minutes for his club, right? He is the talisman for Brentford. I just really like him as an option. And little bonus, obviously he scored his first goal this season against Forest from one of them. He takes the free kicks too. Doesn't blank at Game Week 26. Obviously he has a fixture against West Ham, which, I mean, come on, I think he could do quite well in. And also, one comment I'd have about Toney is that he is relatively fixture-proof as well. He's also got a really nice fixture in Game Week 29 against Burnley. But he's relatively fixture-proof. Scored against Liverpool in Game Week 25 already. Last season, he scored a brace at the Etihad. And this season, he's putting up some great numbers in general. Playing for, let's be honest, a pretty average Premier League team in Brentford. I'm not trying to say that to disrespect Brentford, but they're kind of mid to lower table team. He scored 20 goals for them last season, and he's got 5 attacking returns in 5 starts from this one. And he's only 9.2% owned, so he's a bit of a differential. I just think you can't go wrong with Ivan Toney. a bit of Arsenal defence talk to round off the video. So you probably already have Gabriel in your team, but if you don't, I think he's the best defender in the game right now. Arsenal, the best defence in the league, best ranked for expected goals conceded, and the goal threat that Gabriel is putting up from set pieces is ridiculous. I'm pretty sure he scored the most goals from any defender this season so far. And Arsenal as a team have scored the most goals from set pieces. So Gabriel is the most dangerous player in the box for Arsenal, who are the most dangerous team in the league from set pieces. So not only has he got the best defence in the league, but he probably has the best attacking upside for a defender as well. I just, don't think you can go wrong. No blank in Game Week 26, although the game is against Newcastle. And yes, I mentioned that Newcastle are probably the worst team, or are the worst team in the league statistically for expected goals conceded. They're not too bad from an attacking perspective. Arsenal actually have the top clean sheet odds this week, as we saw. But I wouldn't rule out, Newcastle scoring a goal. But then, looking onwards, 27, 28 and 29, all three of those games, even the Chelsea one, Arsenal could feasibly keep a clean sheet in, right? And if you don't have him already, Gabriel is an absolute shoo-in. So if you already own Gabriel, which you're probably likely to if you're watching this video, right? I think it's worth considering a double up in putting Saliba in alongside him. I think Saliba, of the rest of the Arsenal defenders, is probably the strongest one to choose, just because he's the most nailed. I think, and I said this on my buy and avoid video I made yesterday, I think Saliba is arguably the best centre-back in the world at the moment, and I just see his place absolutely nailed on in that Arsenal starting lineup. He obviously doesn't have a blank in 26. He doesn't have quite as much goal threat as Gabriel. I mean, he scored less goals from playing more games, basically. But I would say he's slightly more nailed. At the start of the season, we saw Gabriel getting rotated a little bit, which really surprised me. But Saliba was one who was a stalwart throughout. Like we can see there, 25 starts for Saliba, 21 starts for Gabriel. So 4 starts different there. I mean, Saliba's played, obviously, every game he's been available for. Yeah. Arsenal, the best defence in the league. Not really seeing many other defences keeping clean sheets. And defences that are likely to keep clean sheets, I'm thinking of Man City, right? I couldn't name you a Man City defender that's nailed on to start every game. Whereas with the Arsenal defenders, I could tell you Gabriel and Saliba pretty much nailed on to start every game, right? Unless they get injured. So, yeah. Differences aside between Man City and Arsenal defenders, I think these two, Gabriel and Saliba, are emerging as the two best defenders in the game. And I think it's worth a double up. Alright, and that's the end of the video. Hopefully gave you there a lot of information and stuff that's useful for Game Week 26. If you enjoyed the video and did find it useful, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave me a like rating. Let me know in the comments what you thought of my players to buy and the expected points data we've got for this week. And subscribe to the Goal to Goal channel. It's just there to see some more videos from me. And I will catch you in my next one.